Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Rabbi Garrett Silver. This is Cantor Garrett, and we are here making history. One day you're going to tell your kids and grandkids, you know what? I was there when congregation L'Dor Va-Dor and Mariposa first joined together in a hybrid service. And it's a great pleasure to be here. I've had pleasure of coming here a couple of times before for different events, and it's wonderful to be back again. And so we also have some other folks here. We have Madison in the back. She is proving that this is L'Dor Va-Dor, meaning generation to generation, because she is the granddaughter of Cantor Garrett. We also have Sharon Leibovitz at the controls there, and she is accompanied by, I believe Ed is here also. No, not tonight, but he usually is. But we do have Jim, Carol's better half, who also is her schlepper and her technical advisor. So we at L'Dor Va-Dor are trying to accomplish something that's very interesting, very exciting, and rather difficult. They say the only thing that two Jews can agree about is how much the third one should give to charity. But we're going to prove them wrong. We're going to prove that you can get all the Jewish people and non-Jews are welcome under one roof in perfect harmony and concord. Now, people come from different backgrounds. Some are Ashkenazic, some are Sephardic, some are Democrats, some Republicans, some conservatives, some liberal, some humanist, some atheist, Orthodox, and everything in between. Our service will not be able to accommodate the service that you're used to exactly like you're used to. So there will be some things that we do that are different. Some of the things are very different because we create songs. Cantor Garrett and I create new songs. So you'll be hearing that for the first time. Somebody else does that. You'll also hear a lot of progressive music, and you'll also hear a lot of traditions. What we do at L'Dor Va-Dor, we take the best of all denominations and try to get all Jews under one roof. Why? Because we're a very small group, and we need to all join together as one in order to accomplish our task of Tikkun Olam, making the world a better place. So we also bring open to your suggestions, comments, and you make a suggestion to us. There's a good chance next week we'll be doing it. Okay, so we're here to serve you and to try to accommodate as many people as possible. Now we're going to start out with one of these songs called Cheers. Anybody ever watch Cheers? Yes, Cheers is a nice place to walk in. Everybody knows your name, right? Making your way in the world today sure can take a while. So Jews take time on the seventh day to pause and share the God, seeking a righteous, peaceful way. On Shabbat we like to go where everybody sees Hashem, and don't get hung up on the name. You want to go bask in the glow of the Sabbath candles flame, where you can know that all are glad you came. You want to go where people grow instead of just staying the same, where peace and love we proudly proclaim.
Shalom.
Shalom. Now we're going to start out on another song that's not on the program. We're going to do a song called Hine Mato. Anyone ever heard that song before? Okay, here's the deal. We would like you to join with us. This is not a spectator sport. So I'd like everyone, it's good to be an observant Jew, but it's even better to be an active Jew. So don't just observe. Join with us and sing if you know the lyrics. We're going to do some of the lyrics in different languages. Probably you've never heard it in French, Spanish, and Arabic, but you will tonight. Celebrando como hermanos, comerse Dieu et magnifique, célébrer con frères ensemble, con guajaí, guanopi, la caícha y guacanguaja, que agradable es unirse en paz, celebrando como hermanos. Sung in different languages in order to indicate that all cultures, all people are one. That is our goal tonight. That is our goal every Shabbat. We're now going to continue with the lighting of the candles. It's my pleasure to call up Roberta to lead us in the candle lighting. If you would like to have any of these honors, you are welcome to do so. Just see me, see Sharon in the back, and next week you can be lighting candles or drinking wine or whatever you like.
There's a microphone right there.
Sorry.
Okay.
It's really a pleasure to be here tonight with all the lovely people. I'm so glad you all came out. Presented Shabbat brings love and peace. All over the world, even in basements hiding from bombs, are celebrating Shabbat. See, Shabbat is important because it's a separation from what we do during the week, whether it's working or being retired and running around on a retiree schedule. It's a time of peace, a time of love, a time of family, and this is my temple family. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu, l'chav v'nei shel Shabbat. Let's go back, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us by the commandments and commanded us to kindle the Shabbat lights. I want to say a couple of words. My sister lives in New York and she came to visit Florida for 2 weeks, and she knows I like to go to Shabbat services, so she agreed, even though she is not a service goer. And she liked L'Dor Va-Dor so much. She liked the rational approach of Judaism of Rabbi Silver. But the second week, she decided to come again, and that made me very happy. We had the second booster for COVID on March 26th, and she left here, and then 4 days later, and unfortunately, she came down with COVID. And now she, as a result of the COVID, she has a staph infection, and she's in the hospital. And I'm saying a special prayer for her tonight. I really think that the God within me connects to the universal life force, and so I'm a big person for prayer.
and healing like the lights of Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the light of Shabbat. Shabbat, Shalom, may you have a peaceful day. Shabbat, Shalom, may you have a restful day. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat.
We're now going to continue with Kiddush, the light. If you notice, there's two candles. They reflect the light of love and the light of reason. We here at the congregation of L'Dor Va-Dor, we join rational thinking and religion, science and religion. It's a very novel concept. Religion that makes sense. Religion that's consistent with what we know. Religion that reflects reality. And so we enjoy these two lights, and they remind us that we also can shed light. We can also shed the light of love and the light of reason, knowledge with others. Now we're going to continue with the Kiddush, reminding us that each one of us could also add the sweetness in this world. We're going to invite up Stan, Rosa, and Wasa to lead us in the Kiddush.
Good evening. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
The Kiddush, the verses and blessings that we recite in the Kiddush, blessing over the wine, proclaim the holiness of Shabbat, and trace it back to the creation of the world. We recite the blessing before drinking the wine, which is usually sweet. Sweet wine adds to the beauty of Shabbat, making it just a little bit of a sweeter. We now raise the cup in thanksgiving and recite the blessing over the wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Amen. Thank you.
Thanks, Stanley, for leading us in the Kiddush and also for leading our congregation. And now we have another song called Yom Laila. This one is a creation of Cantor Garrett. She didn't create light and she didn't create darkness, but she did create this song that describes light and darkness. We're now going to enter into a period where we recite various prayers from our tradition. We don't throw away the baby with the holy water at L'Dor Va-Dor. We don't necessarily interpret the prayers the same way as our ancestors did, but we still recite the prayers and understand them in new ways. Think about it this way. Would you want your kids and your grandchildren to operate at the same level that you do? Or would you want them to learn from you and to increase and grow in knowledge? The beauty of Judaism is that we're constantly learning and growing, expanding our knowledge. And therefore, our ancestors would be proud to see us reciting the prayers and understanding them in different ways. So let me share with you a rational way of looking at prayer. And if you have a different view, that's okay too, because each person can recite the prayers and understand them in their own way. A rational view could be like this. An unreflected life is not worth living, and therefore we take moments to pause and to reflect. The whole point of a prayer is to try to crystallize and imagine what we think we could be like and the world could be like if we use our full potential. My dad used to say the greatest miracle is that we don't have to be today the person we were yesterday if we make use of the fullest potential implanted within us by God. And so we are here to pray, to try to crystallize our vision. And we do it collectively because each one of us can't do it alone. So collectively we envision with words from our past and with our present what type of world we envision and we desire, and then we commit ourselves to work towards that. So with that in mind, we're going to enter into a period of reciting various prayers. The first one is going to be the Baruch Hu, which means let us give praise for creation. But before that, we have responsive reading, where it has writing in bold. That means you should be emboldened to speak up and to recite these lines in bold. Let us make this new Shabbat better than those before.
We seek to touch those we love.
We seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves.
We open our eyes to the hidden truths and understand
We break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others.
we reach for the
The Baruch
one.
Please stand. Please just come. Now you can stand. Everything we do is optional here, so if it's difficult for you to stand, please stay seated and be comfortable. We now recite the responsive reading. Blessed is the grace that crowns the sky with stars and keeps the planets on their ways.
The law that turns our night to day and fills the eye with light. The love that keeps us whole and day by day sustains us.
We now proclaim the unity that we seek in the world and in ourselves with the Shema.
Vishinantam Devanaha Vivartam Maham Vishitaha Vedaha Ulataha Vadira Ushotaha Ulakumeha Ukshatam Viokhyadaha Vihayulatatapo Veneta Ukhatam Amilopetaha Uvisharaka Lamantis Keru Vyasitam Ekomsvotai Vitam Giroshim Laretam Ani Adonai Elohim Asher Hosei Tiefem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Li'od Lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohim.
The Jews have too often been targeted because we dared to be different and we stood up for our beliefs. One of those brave, courageous souls who was martyred because he stood up for his beliefs was Daniel Pearl. And he was captured by terrorists. They asked him who he was, and he said, I am a Jew, my mother is a Jew, my father is a Jew, and then he was martyred. And he set an example for all of us that we should never be afraid to speak up and to proclaim our Jewishness. And the best way to do that is to help others, is to never give up on this world. And if we have reason to be angry, to let it pass over us and to be kind, to help others. Those are ways that are so important to be a Jew. And one of the best articulations of what it means to be Jewish, I believe, was written by Edmund Flay in France, late 1800s. He wrote it in French, and it's a pretty good translation. Let us read responsibly this reading from Edmund Flay. I'll start out. I am a Jew because the faith of Israel demands no abdication of the mind.
I am a Jew because the faith of Israel asks every my soul.
I am a Jew because wherever there are tears and suffering, a Jew weeps.
I am a Jew because that is Israel is patient and yet
I am a Jew because in every age, when the cry of despair is heard, the Jew hopes.
I am a Jew because Israel promised to be universal.
I am a Jew because for Israel the world is not finished, humans will complete it.
I am a Jew because for Israel marriage is not yet fully created. We continue to uphold as a theme of destiny as we die.
I'm a Jew because Israel places the unity of mankind above Israel itself.
I am a Jew because the image of God is better for the recognition of the world.
Shamru.
La
Many of you have mentioned to me with kind regards that you knew my dad, Mom, Elaine, and Sam. I had the privilege of co-officiating with them for many years, and we were known as the Father, the Son, and the musical spirit. My mom was piano. And most of what I have to say that makes sense comes from my dad, either directly or indirectly. And one of the things that he used to preach on is the first words that Joseph said. Remember that great dramatic story when his brothers make themselves known and he makes himself known to them? And he said, "I am Joseph, your brother." Remember what he said after? Od Avi Chai. Does my father still live? He wanted to know, is his father still alive? And my dad said that question was answered when he had good reason to be upset with his brothers, selling them into slavery, and instead he exercised Rahmanas. He said, "Don't blame yourself, it wasn't your fault, it was foreordained." He excused them and said, "I'll take care of you." And at that moment, said my father, his father lived in him the spirit of Rahmanas, of kindness, of goodness, compassion. And so we read this now, the Avot Imahot, in tribute to our ancestors. And we can answer that question. Yes, our ancestors still live when they inspire us to acts of goodness and to remember our precious heritage. So in their honor, we read the Avot Imahot and remember all the trials and tribulations they went through to deliver this heritage to us. Each day we ask, are we worthy? Do our parents still live? If you can, Ms. Cantor, please stand for the reading of the Avot Imahot. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sohar, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Hayeh Hagadol HaGibor v'Hanova El Elyon, Omer Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol, v'Sofer HaTzeiavot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר ומשיח מגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת צבא. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום, יהללוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, I am הקדוש. Please be seated. This is another one of this one is one of my creations. It's called Giving Thanks for a World. I want to see who recognizes the original. When we're finished, I'll take a hand if you can tell me what the original song was. Creative power flows inside of me, which can be traced back to antiquity. And as reason makes clear, species rise and disappear, and evolution led to you and me.
Something in the wind whispers God's name, but I knew God has not remained the same. As I gaze towards the sky, I don't see a clear sky. Evolution that explains from whence we came. I'm giving
Thanks for the world and for works of creation and the greatest explanation I can find is that our process profound is occurring all around, evolving from amoebas to mankind. Carol?
when I fully use my heart and mind. And when in silence I am after the evidence makes clear how all living things are here. We are on time, we are not designed.
Miracles are found in you and me. We're a product of the heavens and the sea. The remnants of a superstar describes exactly who we are. And the same is true for all life that we see. I'm giving thanks for the world and the works of creation, and the greatest explanation I can find is that the process profound is occurring all around, evolving from amoebas to mankind. Evolving from amoeba to mankind. Carpenters, very good. Yes, what's the original song called? Anybody know? Rock of the World, there you go. Now, some people say, Rabbi, you're engaging in hyperbole, saying that we're all superstars. No, we're just humans. Well, scientists have found out that every atom in our bodies, every one of them, came from the remnants of a supernova, a star that was exploding. And at the end stages of the star's life, gravity compressed and forged heavy elements like carbon and nitrogen and oxygen out of the hydrogen. And those elements were scattered into space with a supernova, which means a supernova actually means new, but a new light in the sky. And so literally, we are all comprised of stars, supernovas. We're all superstars. We're a product of the heavens and of the sea, as our ancestors actually believed. They didn't quite understand all of it, but they kind of got it right. And now we can fill in the details. And when we do, we realize how remarkable we are and how sad it is when someone says, I'm only human. That's somebody who doesn't really understand their true nature. Now we're going to continue with one of the most important parts of the Shabbat celebration. Most people think this is when nothing happens. It's the silent meditation. It was Debussy who said that music consists of the silence between the notes. You just had steady notes, there would be no music. And what makes our lives lyrical is to be able to take a little time out, to pause and consider. So I'd like everyone to join with us in silent meditation, in which we're going to take all those words, songs, music, the literature from our heritage, the ideals of our ancestors, and apply them to ourselves. This part I can't do, and it's not on the screen. All right, the screen is your mind. It's go to the screen, and then each one of us has to fill in on our minds. How can we translate these beautiful ideals into action? So with that in mind, we're now going to enter a few moments of silent meditation. We've also at this time going to read the names of those who are ailing, not to appeal to a supernatural power to bring about healing, but to appeal to our own power of a phone call or a visit or a kind word that can help aid the healing process, and even if not, help people get through that ordeal that they're dealing with. They may be ailing physically, financially, emotionally, in some other way, but we have the capacity to heal, and when we do that, we're acting in a godly way. We read the names of those who are ailing on our list Robert Blupinger, Huey Cohen, Bruce David, Teresa DeRoches, David Deach, Bruce Downfield, Wendy Frank, Laura Gallagher, Richard Glass, Sherry Glass, Renee Gallo, Erwin Gross, Barbara Hoffman, Linda Kennedy, Carol Kramer, Olivia Lieberman, Dr. Suder Mayer, Linda Pruskin, Martha Reyna, Bernard Rosa, Sabine, Roland, Esna Sands, Fritz Spielhoff, Naomi Bull. Anybody else? Anybody want to add to our list? Yes.
Harris.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Jody Gore.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Carol Burke.
Thank you. Yes.
And John.
Yes. Anybody else? Anyone else? We're going to add to the list those thousands and thousands of people in Ukraine who have been injured in this place. And as I usually do, I also add our alien planet, which really needs some serious healing. And healing has to come from us, or it's not coming at all. And like I said, we have Jews of all backgrounds. If you want to pray to a supernatural being, be my guest, that's fine. Anything that works for you is fine with us. We welcome Jews of all faiths and backgrounds to join with us under one roof.
Please share with your bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. We shall not be forsaken, for our hearts we are forsaken. Bless those who need healing with the there is no one spirit, and never say, Amen.
I just have to say that it's really a pleasure for me to lead, conduct services, and to have you join in the singing makes it so much better. And it's also great to have Cantor Carol Garrett. She's a blessing and a pleasure, and I'm very, very lucky to have her. And I think we all are. She shares her music and her spirituality with us each week, and we're very, very blessed to have her. Now, most of my songs have something in common that I've created. Most of them come from the 60s and the 70s, my formative years. Our TV shows from the 60s and 70s. But I heard a song that's from a little before that time. I heard it, I thought, I like that song. I'm going to create a song. And it's probably from the time that most people here would remember. I wouldn't, but I like the song, and so you probably recognize it.
Welcome the new moon, and I rejoice in our new week. Giving meaning to our days is what the Jews do seek. Seeking holiness is what I do. In other words, I'm a Jew. Finding ways to help. Let me be a source of light. I'll always get involved and strive to do what's right. I'll fight for what's true. Yes, I do. In other words, I'm a Jew. In other words, yes I do. In other words, I'm a Jew.
Anybody know where that comes from? Climbing to the moon, right. Does everybody here know that if it wasn't for the moon, there could not be life on Earth? That the moon allows life to continue. It slows down the rotation so that the days and nights aren't too quick. And it also stabilizes the orbit. You see, the Earth is a little wobbly, but the moon stabilizes us. It's not light, it's a reflected light. And we also can reflect light. We can reflect the light of love. And when we do, we're able to stabilize relationships, stabilize interfaith relations, and perhaps add a little stability to our lives and to the world. We're now going to continue with the reading of the Torah, Yes de l'existence. And before we read from the Torah, we always have a blessing. In this case, we also do some responsive reading. So please join with us in reading from the passage called Achalemot. In this scroll is the secret of our people's faith from Sinai until now.
Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope.
Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Torah, 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 Moshe. Torah, 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 Moshe. Torah, 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 Moshe. Torah, 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 Moshe. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacharanu mikol ha'amim, v'na'asam lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai notei haTorah.
Reading from the book of Leviticus, Achalemot. Vayitalachem b'chukat olam b'chodesh hashvi'i. Let this be for you a covenant on the 7th month, B'asur lachodesh, on the 10th day of the month. Ta'anu et nafshotechem. You shall afflict your souls. B'chol malacha lo ta'asu, and you shall not do any form of work. You citizens and also the stranger who is within your midst, all of you shall comply with the statute. Because on that day you shall cleanse yourself, you shall atone for all of your sins. Before your own conscience, you shall strive for purity. Shabbat, Shabbaton, hi lachem. Shabbaton, in Hebrew, when they have on, that makes it big, it's big. Shabbat and then Shabbaton. It's a big Sabbath. It's a Sabbath of all Sabbaths. It was built to you, and I need them and nashotechem. And again it says, and you shall afflict your souls, u'kat olam. It's an eternal covenant of the Kohen, Asher Yimshach Oto, and the Kohen who was ruling at that time. The word Yimshach means the one who is anointed, and Yimshach is related to the word Moshiach, which is the Messiah. The Messiah was merely one who was anointed with oil, which is what they did with kings. And so the Messiah was supposed to be from the line of David, so he would be king. But there were many messiahs, many people who were anointed with oil. And here it's using that term Yimshach. So the priest, the one who is anointed to lead you, Yimaleh Yadol Ahen, to lift up his hand in order to minister to you, Tachat Aviv, Piladesh et Bigdei, Habal Bigdei HaKodesh, in his holy garments, his priestly garb, v'chipel et mikdash hakodesh ve'et ohel moed, ve'et hamizbeach v'chapel, ve'el hakohanim al kol am hakahal yichapel. And he shall go through these formalities in the Holy of Holies in order to atone for everyone. Hayatazo lachem v'chukat olam v'chapel. The word lichaper is related to Kippur, Yom Kippur. Lichaper, to atone. He does this to atone al b'nei Yisrael, for the children of Israel. Mikol chatotam, from all of their sins. Achat b'shana, one time in the year. Vayas Hashem siva l'nai et Moshe. And amazingly enough, Jewish people listened and did as Moses commanded. The blessing after the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam tatam v'doseinu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu haolam. Amen.
My friends, this is a very interesting passage that we have here. It's Achle Mot, means after the death. The word mot is actually related to mort, or mortal. Achle Mot, after the death. It's talking about the death of the sons of Aaron, who died for reasons that nobody can quite explain. They offered some strange fire and they were zapped. And that's one reason why many of us don't take the Torah literally. We don't envision some superior being who's executing people for ritual violations. We modern Jews honor the Torah, consider it to be sacred, not because it was written by an infallible being, and not because it contains 100% truth. No, we don't believe that it was written by God. That would be idolatry to consider God's word to be contained within a book. Rather, we consider it sacred and holy because it was written by our ancestors in search of God, in search of holiness. And that is the essential aspect of being Jewish. Why does a Jewish person answer a question with a question? Why not? Why do we say why? Why not? Because the great Jewish scholar and scientist Niels Bohr, who started out every lecture, don't take anything I say as a statement, take it as a question. That's why the Jewish people ask the 4 questions. That's why we have some of the greatest scientists in the world, because we don't indoctrinate and brainwash our children. At least we shouldn't, some of us still do. We try to raise children to think for themselves. Because as Einstein said, blind obedience to authority is the greatest enemy of the truth. And if we truly are committed to emet but said truth and righteousness, that we will not teach our children what to think, we'll teach them how to think and how to question. Because that is the essence of human progress. And what is it that we have in this particular passage that is so wonderful? Well, we have a blessing for our people that Moses articulated for everyone. And he was really calling upon people to not avoid jury duty. I'm talking about Jewry, because there's not many Jewish people around. And we need each one of us to do our job. So we shouldn't avoid jury duty. There was once a Russian commander, and he was talking to his troops. And he said, I want you to understand something. That 5 million Jewish people were able to defeat 150 million Arabs. And they did this repeatedly. And we can learn something from them. One of the soldiers asked, do you think we have enough Jews? That's the question that we ask today. Do we have enough Jews? Do we have enough people who are not just going to identify as observant Jews, but Jews who will be active? Are we only gastronomic Jews? We like Jewish food. Are we just cardiac Jews? We're Jewish in our heart. Are we ritual Jews? Or are we spiritual Jews? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Whether we are actually going to exercise what it means to be Jewish, articulated by Edmund Flagg, to stand up and to be counted, because there are not many of us to do this very, very important task. Some people say that it's important for the Jewish people to have a Jewish state. I wouldn't disagree with that. The Jewish state of Israel is a blessing. But a Jewish state of mind is also something that we should strive for. A Jewish state of mind which doesn't look at the world the way it is and say, why? They look at the world as it could be, and we say, why not? That's what it really means to be Jewish, and that's why we're here today. The word Mariposa I wanted to share with you. I'm not sure if you know where this word comes from, Mariposa. It is Spanish, and it means butterfly. I'm sure you know that. It comes from a song in Spanish, Maria Posa y no se descansa, which means Mary, get up and don't rest. And what it means is that the butterfly seems to flutter around, and that's where it gets its name. Mariposa does something amazing. It starts out as a little caterpillar, and then it transforms itself, and it becomes a thing of beauty. That's really why we're here today. We're here to transform ourselves into not suffer from what I call self-imposed identity theft. You see, the Jewish people, we're a very special people. Look around. You'll see people who are very unusual. They come from a people that doesn't believe that might makes right. They come from a people that dares to believe that this world can be perfected. We come from a people who, when they heard the words, Im tirtzu and zo akadam, if you will and it's no dream, actually made a dream come true. It was Herzl who said, we're going to return to Israel and we'll speak Hebrew as a spoken language. They said, Theodore, you're crazy. That's not really possible. We're weak, we're dispersed, we're scattered, we have no military. Be realistic. That's what he said, if you will, it's no dream. Be realistic. Years later, it was Ben-Gurion who said, in Israel, if you want to be a realist, remember the rest? You have to first believe in miracles. To be a realist. That's what it means to be Jewish. It means to understand what Einstein said. When he said, you can look at this universe as if everything's a miracle, or nothing's a miracle. He saw the universe as if everything is a miracle. That's what it means to be Jewish. To recognize that in our bodies right now, there's about 100 trillion cells, and they all know what to do without being told, so that we can take compressed waves of air and convert it into the sound of a human voice or beautiful music. We can take photons that hit our eye, that turns upside down and then sends a message to our brain, and we can see beautiful visions. How many people, when we wake up in the morning, give thanks for vision? It's incredible. Or that messages can flow from our mind to our bodies, and we can hit a tennis ball, or throw a frisbee, or walk. These are miracles. To be a Jew means to be jubilant and to recognize those miracles. And so on this Shabbat, the first one here at Mariposa, I have to admit to you, I'm just a little bit nervous. The reason why I'm nervous is because I'm being visited by my brother Josh, all the way from California, and his son Ezra. The reason why I'm nervous, in California, everybody's a rabbi. Everybody's a guru. Everybody's spiritual. They have a higher standard there. I've told them the first 5 letters of California stand for come and live in Florida. Ezra makes me nervous also. He's an English teacher. So I'm worried that every sentence I'm going to say something that's not quite grammatically correct. But so far I think I'm doing it. In any event, this is a very wonderful occasion here at L'Dor Va-Dor to be with you and to celebrate Shabbat. It's a great honor for us, and we hope that we'll repeat this in the future. And I just want to make sure that I leave you with these parting words, Im Tirtzu and L'Dor Va-Dor. If we will it, it's no dream. And the words of Tuvia Bilski, remember him, the great Jewish hero who fought against the Nazis with partisans. He said, freedom begins with an act of defiance. We're seeing that in Ukraine today, led by a person of Jewish heritage who's teaching us what freedom is all about. Let's keep rising, spreading hate and fear, but beyond today's horizon, peace will once again appear. Putin is a villain, he's inflicted so much pain, unleashing wanton killing on the people of Ukraine. But can you feel the love tonight from around the world? With Ukraine, we unite as its flag is unfurled. And can you feel the love tonight? You are not alone. For freedom we must join the fight and make your cause our own. Zelensky won't surrender, the battle is not lost. He is truth's defender, regardless of the cost. The Russians keep on shooting as people flee their home, but together we'll be moving and at last restore shalom. And can you feel the love tonight as we stand with Ukraine? As long as we unite for freedom, love and hope remain. We're now going to have the Aleno, followed by the Kaddish.
Please rise and bow your spirit for the amendment. Alleluia, your celebration shall
Now we're going to read the Kaddish. Before we read the Kaddish, we mention the names of those who have been recently summoned from us. We recite the names of Cheryl Garrett, Steve Adler Golden, Mildred Peck, Sherry Hyman, Richard Kahn, David Levine, Jane Rosenblum, Elaine Silver, Ruthie Winehouse, and those fighting in Ukraine on both sides, including those who have been indoctrinated to want to go and commit violence. We think of all of them as well as those the anniversary whose departure occurs these days. Richard Allen, Grace Bergman, Arthur Coleman, Jerome Hayden, Albert Davis, Claire Garston, Ethel Golub, Irving Golub, Bernard Harrison, Sanford Hirsch, Charles Hyman, Louis Jandor, Morris Kahn, Marcia Gitterman, Kaserman, Bernice Kesslin, Max Kornblum, Rose Kupferschmidt, Albert Lustig, Lillian Mark, Sarah Melton, Fred Goller, Marion Newman, John O'Brien, Dr. Max Pensop, Bertha Ilch, Marion Schatzer, Cindy Shapiro, Sarah Silverman, Hattie Burns, Leo Zickman. Anyone else want to mention anything? Eric Burke? Yes. Thank you. We're now going to read the Kaddish. Iskadal, Shalom, Bialman, Ilman, Kusei, Bialim, Kusei,Lohayakon, Yomekon, Lohayakon, Israel, Lagalad, Islam, Kabit, Doamen, in Ishmael, Olam, Bayamaya, Torah, Isabah, Iswar, Iswamat, Isnasai, Iskadal, Isalem, Isalal, Shemek, Rishwa, the Elam, and Kol, Rasa, Vishirasa, Vishpasa, Hanamasa. Namemon Yomani Roman, Eshkom Rabbi Ishmael Kayin, Aleno Behoy Israel, Say Shalom Yomah, Uya say Shalom Aleno Behoy Israel, and the source of peace and comfort, bring peace and comfort to all of us, and may we serve as a source of peace and comfort to others. Amen. Please be seated. We now are going to hear from Sharon Leibovitz, who has some announcements to share with us.
I wish you all Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. It's so nice to see all of you here, both our L'Dor Va-Dor family and our Mariposa family. I see a lot of you that are members, previous members that have moved here, and it's so good to see you. It is wonderful to see you. Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to tell you about Touch of Torah, which we have Torah study every Tuesday. And this May 3rd is no different at 7 p.m. on Zoom with Rabbi Barry Silver, where we talk about the upcoming Torah Parsha a little bit more in depth than we do here on the Shabbat service, and we get to ask questions and get some real insight into the Torah. We are going to be here at Mariposa for the next 2 weeks, and if you like us, we will be here for good if you like us. So May 6th and May 13th at 7:30, we will be here. Our services are also on Zoom and YouTube, broadcast on live stream. And we enjoy having you together with us live and also our virtual family together. I'd like to tell you about something that's coming up this Sunday. We lost our beloved Elaine Silver, mother to Rabbi Barry, mother to Josh Silver, and the rest of the Silver family.
a wonderful, wonderful woman, and we're going to celebrate her life at Beth Israel Memorial Chapel at 10 a.m. on Sunday, May 1st, followed by a very wonderful celebration of music and speeches at Temple Sinai in Del Rey at 1 p.m. And that will also be on Zoom. If you can't get there live, you can go to l'dorvador.org to our calendar page for May 1st and see the links to watch on your computer if you want to. You can get all of our information at l'dorvador.org. You can also go to YouTube to see previous programs that we have, and also our Facebook page. We love having you, and we hope that you'll join our L'Dor Va-Dor family. And following the service, we have wine, challah, and some cookies for you in the back. We also have literature. If you want to be on our email list, please put your name and address, email address on our book that's in the back. And we love to have more people be part of L'Dor Va-Dor and expand our wonderful L'Dor Va-Dor family with you. Shabbat shalom, and have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
I just want to add to the announcement that she made. My mom was an extremely upbeat person. If you ask her, how are you doing? You'd say, terrific, but I'll get better. She was terrific, and our goal is to help her make this world better. We're celebrating her life with joy, with music, with just good feelings for all. And I just want to share with you also, I rediscovered, anybody ever had an aha experience? You know what that is, an aha experience? Like all of a sudden something makes sense, it clicks. Well, how about this? I had an ahava experience. Ahava is the Hebrew word for love. And I've received so many words from people and condolences and warm wishes from people I hadn't seen in a while. I had an ahava experience. I also dawned on me, oh yes. What makes this world so beautiful is people, friends and family. There's a lot of people that care about us. We don't usually realize it, but they're out there. And I want to thank everybody for welcoming us into your homes. I enjoyed meeting many new people. I've seen many people here from before, and it's a great pleasure to be here and connect with other people. That's really what this is all about. And I will give you my final benediction in this form. We read Achalemot, and it talked about you shall afflict your souls. What holiday is that? What holiday? Yom Kippur. And guess what? The Torah doesn't mention Yom Kippur. You can't find Yom Kippur in the Torah. You can't find fasting in the Torah. It's not there. Yom Kippur, fasting, that's the essence of Judaism, isn't it? They were modifications. They were reforms. They were changes. That indicates the fact that Judaism is always changing. And I hope that under our influence with our elders and with our young people, we'll do what religion's supposed to do. Connect with our past, understand our present, so we can shape the future. And we will realize that everything must change. And religion must change and be transformed from tribal to global to cosmic to recognize we're all one. And the greatest goal that we have, the most important religious imperative, is to protect creation. Because to destroy it is the worst form of sacrilege. We must change our ways of thinking. And the way that we can start, that I hope everyone here will commit themselves to as Jews to get involved, is we must learn from this present conflict in Ukraine. Never again should we allow ourselves to dance chic to chic with oligarchs who think they have us over a barrel and who are promising us an Orwellian future. We must liberate ourselves as a species from addiction to oil, to find some other way to energize our world, because no longer can we be held hostage in this fashion. We must, all peoples, work together. Conservatives, liberals, Jews, everyone. Because when we do that, when we liberate ourselves from oil, it'll protect our security, it'll protect our planet, it'll protect our economy, and we will be able to be independent and no longer enslaved by foreign dictators. I hope we can all do that, all Jews and all people together. Shabbat Shalom. Now we have the most beautiful national anthem ever, because it's all about the most important commodity, hope. Ati.
Please join with us and rise again with body and
While I got you standing, we'll sing the final benediction, which I skipped. I don't want you to miss out on a blessing. May you be blessed and protected in your journey through life. May the light of love and of reason reflected in these candles shine upon you and be emitted from you always. May you be lifted up by the power of love to bring out the best in all of us, and the best in Mariposa, the best in our community, so that we might be a blessing.
יבוא שלום עלינו, יבוא שלום עלינו, יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. יבוא שלום עלינו, יבוא שלום עלינו, יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, סלאם, סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, סלאם. שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, סלאם, סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, סלאם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום